which means that that's why you have a pattern of space. The analog of straight lines.
All right. Okay. So I took a break. I'm back. Let's test the audio. Oh. Oh.
This is the case. Let's calculate the expected frequency of different readings if the particles do contain hidden information. Now, you can think of this hidden information like a secret plan. The particles agree.
Oh.
This is the case. Let's calculate the expected frequency of different readings if the particles do contain hidden information. Now, you can think of this hidden information.
All right. Okay. So oh, Noir Vanache. Dark energy might be black holes. The problem with tariffs. Angry astronaut. What about it? It's good. So I made comments for myself in order to, because I need to bleep it out. I don't feel comfortable attacking big channels. They can come after me with defamation. So I need to remove the comments that I made. To leave it open. She's hot. Very hot. I mean, not as hot as Melania. Melania is the hottest thing in the universe. By far. But Michelle Obama is also hot. But Melania has a beautiful face on top of everything. Michelle also is very sexy. Michelle, I think, is 6 foot tall, and Melania is 5'11", so they're 1 inch apart. Looks clips. Yaron Brook. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, so short. Mm-hmm. What's this?
This video is about an interesting development in astrophysics that I've followed for some years now. It's the idea that black holes are the source of dark energy. This recently made headlines because there are tentative results suggesting that dark energy might change in time. This fits with the idea that it might be made of black holes, and it'd also determine the ultimate fate of our universe. Let's have a look. Black holes are a consequence of Einstein's theory of general relativity. They are mathematically characterized by two properties. The one is the event horizon, that's a surface from within which nothing, not even light, can escape. And in the middle, they have a singularity where everything gets squashed together to infinite density. If you fall into a black hole, you'll inevitably be dragged into the singularity, and then you can stop worrying about repaying your student loan. Dark energy is something else entirely, or so it seems. It's the name.
Yeah. um, she hates America. In that respect, she's an absolute. I mean, I don't like her when she attacks America. Um, um, I don't feel like even responding, except for I don't know what to say.
Name we've given to whatever it is that speeds up the expansion of the universe. Dark energy is what determines the ultimate fate of our universe, how it'll end. Will the expansion get faster and faster? Will it slow down? Is maybe even a recollapse and a new beginning possible? It all depends on this mysterious stuff, dark energy. Astrophysicists measure the change in the expansion by looking at distant galaxies. When I say distant, I don't mean they're estranged fifth cousins, I mean they are billions of light years away. We can measure how the structure and motion of these galaxies has changed with time, and that tells us how the universe expanded. And a recent measurement that from the Dark Energy Survey instrument DESI for short has delivered quite a surprise. The DESI experiment is a telescope which does a sky survey atop Kitt Peak in Arizona. It looks for baryon acoustic oscillations, patterns in galaxies that are left over from sound waves in the plasma in the early universe. Dark energy affects how those patterns change with time. So by measuring the patterns for galaxies at different ages, we can find out how dark energy changed. The group found very tentative evidence that dark energy is not constant, but getting slightly weaker. A similar finding was previously made by another experiment which looked at supernovae data. The significance of the finding is currently low, around 2.6 sigma, so maybe it'll go away with better data. However, if it's right, it means that the expansion of the universe is speeding up, but not as much as we thought, and it's getting slower. So what's causing it? This is where the black holes come in. The idea is that we've totally misunderstood what black holes do. Black holes don't just sit inside galaxies, they feel the expansion of the universe and they expand with it. And if black holes expand, their mass grows. So the mass inside the universe grows, and that can mimic dark energy. This seems to violate energy conservation, but remember that energy is just not conserved in an expanding universe. There have been some previous studies that say that the growth of these individual black holes is too small to be directly observable, and it's compatible with observations. In the new paper now, they calculate the contribution of these growing black holes to the expansion of the universe. For this, you need to know how many black holes
Wait,
were
was
formed
I
at any time
talking-
in the history of the universe.
I was talking to myself, apparently.
It's not a steady rate. In the early universe, a lot of stars form rather suddenly once conditions allow it. Some of them later go on to form black holes. So for some while, there's a lot of black hole formation, which later slows down. This means if black holes cause dark energy, then you expect dark energy to become weaker, which is indeed what the observations suggest. In the paper, they show that the models fit the observations. They don't say this in the paper, but since black holes will eventually all evaporate entirely, I guess this would mean that dark energy will entirely disappear and the universe will collapse. It's usually called a big crunch, though to me that sounds like a cereal bar. Okay, now that you know what they've done, let me tell you why I don't believe this is what's really going on. First, to make this work, you can't use normal black holes. These will just not increase in size. You need to assume black holes aren't what we think they are. They're mathematically different, have no singularity, and have internal pressure. It's an ad hoc assumption that's neither supported by mathematics nor observations. Second, that assumption doesn't make any sense because most black holes sit in galaxies and galaxies simply don't expand with the universe. So what do you even want to couple them to? You may wonder now why I tell you about this if I don't believe it's true. It's because I may be wrong and I want you to know what's going on regardless of what I think. At the very least, it'll give you something to talk about at Thanksgiving. To me, science is more than a profession. It's a way to understand the world and to
I don't know. What was the evidence? 4D geometry makes me sad. I mean, a lot of people seem to say, what if black holes are dark energy?
Today, I have a small series of puzzles for you. And if you even remotely like math, I can essentially guarantee that the solution to each one will delight you. At the end, you and I will circle them all together into a broader theme about higher dimensions, both in the sense of why we care, and also why it's a little bit sad to think about them. But for the first half of this lesson or so, nothing that we do is going to touch 4 or more dimensions. This will start simply as a set of pure geometry puzzles with delightful and surprising solutions. For the first puzzle here, I want you to consider this rhombus shape where the internal angles are 60 degrees and 120 degrees. If you take a lot of copies of this shape, you can tile the plane with it. And that's not unique to this rhombus, you could have different internal angles. But what's nice about this one is that there are a lot of distinct ways with a kind of pseudo-hexagonal pattern that you could also tile the plane. I've seen this pattern all the time out in the wild, on floors or on furniture, and each time it reminds me of the puzzle I'm about to show you. If you take one of these tilings, and you ever notice that 3 of those rhombus shapes make a little hexagon like this, it gives you a chance to generate a slightly different tiling by rotating those 3 tiles 60 degrees. The result is almost the same as what you had before, but just a little bit different. And when you do that, you might notice that sometimes that creates a new hexagon that wasn't there before.
I don't care. What's this? That action is disabled. Members only content. Wow. I don't care.
In February of 2023, a fascinating new study was published that's generating huge buzz in cosmology circles and with the general public. A group of researchers from 9 countries claim to have found a solution to dark energy, which is one of the biggest mysteries in cosmology. The research seems to show a connection with dark energy and supermassive black holes. If what they propose is true, it would be the biggest discovery since the discovery of dark energy itself 25 years ago.
People
I
love to
don't
imagine that things
This video is about an interesting development in astrophysics that I've followed for some years now. It's the idea that black holes are the source of dark energy. This recently made headlines because there are tentative results.
Dean, are tariffs inflationary?
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Who pays for tariffs? Not the company that you are tariffing. So let's use the favorite example. China exports stuff to us and then we tariff them, right? We as an importer of Chinese goods pay for the tariffs, not China. I think so the most important fact that people need to understand is that the company exporting the product does not pay for the tariff.
To be fair, my guess is in the long term, it probably comes out to about 50-50. But I mean, still, like a lot of it's passed on to the consumer, of course. Stop.
How it works is this. They put stuff on a boat. It arrives here. When the company that imports it and distributes and sells it, let's say Costco, whatever, the distributor goes to the port and takes it, they pay for the tariff there.
At the port.
At the port, yeah. So when you clear customs,
Okay.
it's collected there. And basically what happens is when the product reaches the shelves, it's more expensive now. So what would
So there's more costly
but it's like I
here.
did that example before, right? Okay, you buy a T-shirt for $10 without tariffs, right? And you sell it here for 12, right?
Mhm.
When you tariff China $2 on that, then it's going to cost you $12 to get here. You're not going to sell it at zero profit. You have to bump the price up.
Votes on MSBC blaming sexist Latinos versus Mexico electing female left-wing president last month with the highest vote percentage in their history. That was kind of a sentence. Everybody's going to want to paint this with their pet issue. I think. I need a lot of data to move me off that point now. Okay. Price high, vote other guy. That was it. I don't think it was because of sexism. I don't think it was because of any of that. I think it was just price high, vote other guy.
I know, but everyone says in the comments that believe this whole tariff thing, then we should be buying American-made t-shirts.
Yeah, okay,
We
you
grow
know,
cotton here
that's a fallacious argument, though. Okay, what is your cost of living here? What is your cost of labor here compared to China? How are you going to pay people to make that T-shirt at the same price that they make it in China? It's impossible. And what's the result of that, right? You pass the price increase on the cost of labor, the cost of everything that's more expensive here, regulatory costs, taxes, all that kind of stuff. It costs more to make things here, which is why we only make some kinds of things here. We don't make T-shirts here anymore. What do we make? An airplane. What do we make? We make
American-made cars. We do make them. Well, actually, not we make them in Mexico.
We'll do final stage of assembly or higher value add parts to it. Basically.
It's cheaper.
Why is my screen gonna keep unplaying? Stop making numbers. Stop doing that.
yeah, that's the whole point. So the whole thing that people have to understand about manufacturing, you tariff different. No, the world economic,
Brandon is actually 100% correct. I'm still on that talking point. Tariffs, by definition, have to be inflationary because that's literally their job. The whole point of a tariff is to make a product more expensive so you won't buy it versus another product. If tariffs weren't inflationary, they wouldn't be things. They wouldn't exist. There'd be no purpose in having it. The whole point of a tariff is to say, buy my product, not theirs, because there's higher taxes associated with it. It has to be inflationary, definitionally.
what do you call it? The best manner in which for all countries in the world is to trade with each other. It's this concept of competitive.
I mean, certainly not definitionally, but also not in any way. I mean, it's actually impossible to create inflation. How would you even create inflation? In order to create inflation, you need to inflate the money supply. I don't know how to do that. With today's monetary system, the banks are private. The banks create money whenever they feel like it, whenever they feel like giving a loan, whenever they give a loan. When they give a loan, they create money, but they can always give a loan. No one stops the bank from just nilly-willy giving out loans. So, but that's the current state of affairs. The banks are always giving out loans. That's their business. That's how they make money. Otherwise, I don't think they have any other source of income. They give out a loan and they charge interest. So there cannot be, I mean, the inflation, anyway, it's all built in. It's all priced in. Anyway, tariffs are just a tax. I don't see why they would create inflation. How would I just don't see it. And why should I care if there is inflation? Who cares if there is inflation? If there is rising prices, who cares? So, Destiny thinks Trump won because of inflation. He has this theory: price high, vote the other guy. Okay, that's your theory. You're entitled to have a theory. I don't believe there's inflation. I support Trump. Trump has many policies that I like, and Kamala has many policies that I don't like. So, everyone I know basically is the same. They prefer Trump over Kamala. And I don't know anyone who believes that there is right now inflation. I don't even know if there was inflation. So this is utter nonsense.
Good afternoon and welcome to another Angry Alien Bulletin here on the Angry Astronaut. So as most UFO enthusiasts know, there's about to be another UAP hearing in the House of Representatives, the House Oversight and Accountability Committee as it is called, and a number of former Defense Department officials who have been advocating for an investigation.
Well, these hearings are nonsensical.
Of UAPs who believe and say that they have proof that UAPs are real, by real meaning that not something that's been created by human technology, not the result of experimental aircraft or anything like that, but non-human technology, and also that
it is happening. SpaceX has announced Starship Flight 6 for November 18th. Today, we'll dedicate an entire episode to what you can expect from this flight. What will be different? Will SpaceX push the boundaries of what's possible further? And most importantly, will they prepare for orbit with this flight? It's confirmed only to be a week. More about it, let's dive right in. Starship updates. This week has been densely packed, and with Starships,
This guy's psychotic. He has like real issues.
sixth orbital flight test confirmed only to be a week away. We know why. To build excitement for this next flight, SpaceX released a recap for the previous one that includes some amazing, never-before-seen footage. Because of just how incredible this flight was, we have already seen quite a bit of footage. However, there are a few things in here that we haven't seen yet, and because SpaceX decided to upload it to YouTube, it's now all in 4K. The first incredible scene is this beautiful view of the ship's hot staging. This looks like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, with the blue glow of the engines shining right at the camera and propelling the ship away as the booster flips around. For the first time, you can also see the Raptor movement just after hot staging. Can you see them gimbal into their neutral position? This is because during hot staging, those center engines are pointed outward, so that less force and heat is applied straight down onto the hot staging ring. Once that is done, the center engines gimbal back into the middle. This is a very interesting insight into how hot staging works on starships. And that wasn't the only amazing view. Arguably, one even more impressive is an onboard shot of the ship, only this time it's just after splashdown. The submersible Starship. Here you can see just how successful this splashdown really was, with water rushing over the flap right in front of the camera just after the ship hits the water. The shot just shortly after shows the camera fully submerged. This shot was likely taken at least 5 to 10 meters underwater. All of this is only the start, as Flight 6 is now only days away, so you know what that means. SpaceX just released their new timeline for the next Starship flight. Let's check out what we have to look forward to. What are the changes? What's the goal? Seeing how the license for this flight was already granted by the FAA due to its similar flight path to the last one, you'd think this would be a repeat of Flight 5, and while it is in some aspects, others are completely different. Firstly, we now have a time. The Starship is set to fly at 4 p.m. Central Starbase time on Monday the 18th. An afternoon launch. Maybe even more importantly, there's daylight available for another very important part of the launch. More on that later. Starting on the ground, we can see that SpaceX has once again decided to change its fueling procedures for the ship and booster. Interestingly, the time it takes for SpaceX to load the booster and the ship has once again increased. But why? For the first 3 flights, the time it took to load the booster and the ship was decreased. This has multiple purposes, the primary among them being reduced boil-off. Because the longer it takes to load the vehicle, the longer propellants are left without being used. Because these propellants need to stay at cryogenic temperatures, there is inevitably boil-off, caused by the propellants heating up and needing to be vented to prevent an overpressure event. This can be extremely wasteful. While SpaceX has ways to reduce the amount of boil-off during propellant loading, it can still be expensive, so every second is money wasted. In the grand scheme of the Starship program, this amount is negligible, but as SpaceX wants to launch Starships as often as airliners fly, it can become significant. These increases in fueling time are hopefully just temporary, as SpaceX expands the fuel farm to connect with Pad B. We should begin to see these numbers go back down for later flights. Both the ship and booster now begin propellant loading around a minute earlier, with the only exception being the ship's fuel, which still starts at T-minus 49 minutes and 50 seconds. The completion time for propellant load remains the same. All loading is completed at T-minus 2 minutes and 50 seconds. After that, at T-minus 30 seconds comes the final go for flight from ground control. Yes. 20 seconds later, the flame deflector activates with water jetting out in all directions. Shortly after, the engine starts, then at T-minus 0, Starship is yet again off on a history-making flight. But before I tell you about that, we've looked into our channel metrics and even further by double-checking extra content. With it, with up to 7 picture galleries per week, mark quite a few milestones, including the fastest turnaround time between Rock, now back to Flight 6, paving the way to the stars. When it lifts off, this flight will mark quite a few milestones, including the fastest turnaround time between launches, just 1 month and 5 days. Interestingly, this means that when Starship launches for the 6th time, it will officially have the fastest Super Heavy lift rocket turnaround time ever. You might think that Starship would have already had this, given its quick turnaround time of just 3 months between Flights 3 and 4. However, the Saturn V actually had a turnaround time of just about 2 months on a few Apollo missions. Apollo 9 to 10 was 2 months and 15 days, and Apollo 10 to 11 was 1 month and 28 days. So this will actually be the first time Starship is launching with a faster turnaround time. This shows the progress that SpaceX has been making, but it is also a good reminder of just how quickly NASA was able to move back in the 1960s. Keeping the comparisons, another interesting note is that the Saturn V's 6th flight was actually Apollo 11, the first mission to land people on the moon. This also goes to show the difference between the two programs and just how much time SpaceX is putting into testing Starship to make sure it's perfect for carrying its first payload. All right, let's get back to launch now, because the real excitement happens after liftoff. The initial liftoff stays the same, with the booster following what should be an almost identical course to the previous flight, with the first difference coming at MECO, or most engines cut off. All but the 3 center engines are cut off at 2 minutes and 32 seconds. That's a second sooner compared to Flight 5. Considering how small this change is time-wise, it may be a result of reduced ship weight. Getting slim. After all, SpaceX did remove quite a few tiles from the ship, and this 1 second sooner cutoff could be to compensate for that. This could also be due to an increased amount of thrust from the booster, as SpaceX is known to perform iterative design on the engines. We can also see that hot staging takes place just a second sooner for this flight as well. This is about 7 seconds after MECO and is likely a small upgrade following lessons learned from the last flight. After that, the booster immediately flips around, and then at T+2 minutes and 44 seconds, the middle ring of 10 engines reignites to send the booster back to the pad. Woohoo, here we go. Oh. It appears SpaceX decided to speed up the flip maneuver again for this.
He's I don't know why he behaves this way. Really weird.
As the boost back burn begins just 5 seconds after the hot staging. This is closer to what SpaceX had before Flight 5, which took 7 seconds. Before we continue with the flight timeline, let's talk about an artwork I recently received. Today's limited edition prints. I'm titled Occupy Mars. Artists and professional photographers of Mars. A truly unique image, a selfie. Let's see how this piece fits. So remember to stand out from the rest. Flight 5 before cutting its end. All right, back to Starship Flight 6 and the booster journey. The booster then burns for 54 seconds, which is 1 second shorter than Flight 5, before cutting its engines and jettisoning its hot staging ring to splash down in the Gulf of Mexico. It'll be fished out later to prevent any environmental issues. Hopefully, it didn't hit any whales or sharks. Interestingly, it does appear the booster is taking a slightly different re-entry trajectory during its return, as the booster now reaches transonic speeds much later than on Flight 5. The reasoning for this may be pretty interesting. During Flight 5, Booster 12 had a slight problem with its outer engines, which were damaged due to high temperatures during re-entry. It's possible that SpaceX found a way to fix this by changing the booster's re-entry trajectory, allowing it to shed heat more effectively to avoid excessive heating to those outer engines. Perhaps this is how it's being easily addressed. This would also likely change when SpaceX needs to start its landing burn. In this case, it is now started at T plus 6 minutes and 38 seconds, exactly 3 minutes after the boost back burn ends. Interestingly, that means the booster now spends 8 seconds longer gliding back in, which means it has 8 extra seconds to spread out its heat and reduce its speed. As the booster descends, both mission control and the booster itself will have a decision to make. Will it attempt a catch or will it splash down in the ocean? If at any point the onboard computer or mission control feels the booster is not in good enough condition to attempt a catch, there are many abort scenarios, including crashing into the ocean or even crashing right next to the tower. Oh. SpaceX even had a problem during the last flight. A small issue almost triggered an abort scenario during landing that would have caused the booster to crash into the ground next to the pad. During a debrief with Elon Musk, we found out that this is actually the main factor determining the launch date, as teams wanted to make sure all the commit criteria were perfect. If the booster once again receives a go, we get to watch SpaceX once again attempt what was believed to be impossible by many just a month ago. The booster slowly lowers itself down and translates over the launch mount and into the arms of the tower, completing the 7-minute journey. Hopefully, that journey ends yet again with a booster hanging from a tower on a pair of chopsticks. If SpaceX achieves this again after only a month, they'll prove that this isn't just some tech demo anymore, and that this prototype is already more advanced than all other rockets on the market. Even if SpaceX decided to give up on reusability for the second stage, Starship would likely already dominate the launch market. The numbers are there. Of course, this is not the end goal for Starship, but rather just one of the goals likely the easiest to achieve. Because the next goal SpaceX needs to achieve is recovering the ship, which is why SpaceX has put so much work into Ship 31, which is still on its way to orbit throughout this entire booster recovery process. Arguably, the ship's flight is even more important than the boosters this time. SpaceX has already proven that recovering a booster with a tower is possible. However, SpaceX has now confirmed that the ship will be testing quite a few things that have never been attempted by a ship before. After Ship 31 reaches its near-orbit trajectory at 8 minutes and 27 seconds into flight, its engines are cut and it begins its coast phase. That's the perfect time for a toilet break during the stream. However, unlike Flight 4 and 5, which had highly uneventful coast phases as SpaceX focused on the ship's re-entry, now that they've proven that they can successfully splash down twice, even with some damage, they want to test other things too. So, no toilet break. Notably, SpaceX has brought back a test we have yet to see on the timeline since Flight 3. At 37 minutes and 46 seconds into flight, SpaceX will attempt a Raptor in-space relight demonstration. Yes! This is where SpaceX relights one or even multiple Raptor engines while in orbit in zero gravity to demonstrate its capability. Lighting an engine in space is quite a bit harder than lighting one on the ground, as the lack of gravity allows the propellants to float around freely in the fuel tanks, meaning that unless you have a system to force the fuel to where it needs to go, you're just going to be sucking in air bubbles. That's why this demonstration is so important, and it's also why SpaceX has not attempted to put Starship into a full orbit yet. If SpaceX put Starship into a full orbit and then realized they couldn't relight the engine to bring it out of its orbit again, it could be a huge risk, not only to other vehicles in orbit, but also to things on the ground. Low Earth orbits decay over time and are fairly hard to predict. In other words, SpaceX does not want to drop a 1,000-ton stainless steel Starship on some random town in Australia or anywhere else. Hey, Australia, you're totally safe. This isn't the only new thing SpaceX is testing, as during re-entry, they have quite a few things for this ship's heat shield. Along with the timeline, SpaceX also provided quite a bit of information about these tests. The first of these is a new secondary thermal protective system. This system may replace the backup ablative thermal protective system, which we saw SpaceX install on Ship 30. This backup is designed as a last resort if a part of the main heat shield becomes damaged. Unfortunately, the tiles used on Starships are quite brittle and prone to cracks or even falling off entirely. So this backup heat shield is crucial to ensure that Starships can be safely and reliably recovered after each flight. The second test SpaceX is running is removing tiles. What? We have covered this quite a bit in the past few episodes as SpaceX removed several rows of tiles along the edge of the heat shield. We theorized that this could be done to reduce weight, as these sections were not needed, and to remove tiles from sections that may come in contact with the chopsticks during a catch attempt. And sure enough, SpaceX confirmed our suspicions, stating that this was a test for catch-enabling hardware on future vehicles. The third change to look forward to during the ship's re-entry is a higher angle of attack. This will stress the ship's aerodynamic control to gain as much data as possible for future landings. The final thing to look forward to during this re-entry is my favorite, and it will likely be yours as well. SpaceX's launch window for this flight is late afternoon, compared to the morning launches we have grown used to for the Starship program. This is important, as this afternoon launch from Texas means we will also be getting a daylight landing in the Indian Ocean for re-entry and splashdown. And that sounds delicious. According to SpaceX, this will provide better conditions for visual observation. In other words, it will look incredible. On previous flights, due to the nighttime re-entries, we were able to see...
All right.
Rational self-interest and individual. Everybody, welcome to One Book Show on this what is it? Saturday, July 13th. I hope everybody is having a great weekend yeah, just starting. Hopefully, you're looking forward to the rest of the weekend. All right, let's see. We're going to talk about the UN today. Hopefully, Luca will join because it was his idea and he suggested this topic. So we'll see if he joins. But we'll talk all things UN. Of course, I'll take questions on anything you want as well. Actually, Michael's already got a question in, so feel free. Let's see what's going on here. Just checking. All right. Discussion about the United Nations. Also, I want to remind you that all of you who are members, so you can now go backwards, go to the member tab under the One Book Show, and you should have the one of the books that's not just getting to hear, at least earlier today in Israel, attempted. We don't know yet if it was. News item is that Israel this morning, or at least earlier today in Israel, attempted. We don't know yet if it was successful or not, but attempted the assassination of the military leader of Hamas, and indeed the number 2 person in Hamas, Mahmoud Deif. This is a monster that Israel has been trying to kill for a long time. They've made several attempts at assassinating him. They've wounded him, but they've never actually managed to kill him. There have been various rumors of his death, rumors of his maiming, but they've all turned out to be wrong, and ultimately he has survived and indeed was the ultimate architect and responsible for the execution of the October 7th. So this is probably the number 1, if not or number 2, priority of the Israelis in terms of killing the leadership of Hamas. Sinwar is a leader of Hamas. Sinwar is also not in charge of day-to-day kind of military operations. He's deep in a bunker somewhere, hiding away, surrounded by hostages by all accounts. It is Deif that actually is the one who comes out of the tunnels.
Oh, this is historical. This is from July. Oh my God. Okay. So what I want to do. Okay. I want to write. I want to write my ticket. I'm going to write my own ticket. All right. So I want to modify. So we were in direct negotiations with Mr. ChatGPT, and we're also here. Cousins are fine, but siblings are bad. Oh my God. What's wrong with siblings? What's wrong with anything? Everything is fine. Debate me. I never lost. So why should I debate you if you've never lost? Isolation. What is isolation? Hello. Hello.
Why are you Mr. Slave?
It doesn't matter.
You're streaming live on YouTube.
Yeah.
And what exactly do you stream?
These days, mostly quantum mechanics. Do you believe in quantum mechanics?
Why are you into quantum mechanics? It seems like a very specific topic.
I resolved everything else.
You've resolved everything else?
Yeah.
Do you believe in free will?
No.
So everything was leading up to this very moment.
Exactly.
So you believe that everything is just recycled?
No. I don't know anything about that.
You believe in God?
No.
So then you believe that the universe is the uncaused cause?
I don't have an opinion about cause, except for anyone who has an opinion is lying.
Well, quantum entanglement is very interesting because, it appears and then it disappears. That's obviously dependent on the observer.
No, quantum entanglement is utter nonsense. It's a nothing burger. It's nothing to it. You might as well say that flipping a burger is as deep as quantum entanglement. If you find flipping a burger interesting, then yeah, quantum entanglement is interesting. Otherwise, quantum entanglement is a nothing burger. There's nothing to it.
I think you're being, I don't know if you're being intentionally disrespectful or not, but it's not quite true.
Well, it's my opinion after researching day and night for a couple of months nonstop. That's the conclusion. I didn't, my intuition was that would be the conclusion, but that is the conclusion. I mean, throughout my research, at one point, I did think that entanglement exists, that there is instant communication across the universe between entangled particles, but I don't believe that any longer. All the experiments of quantum entanglement can easily be explained by what's known as a hidden variable.
Hidden variable has recently been debunked.
No, it has not.
Pretty sure somebody won I think it was 2022, Maybe mistaken. Somebody won a Nobel Peace Prize debunking hidden variables.
Yeah, I debunked it multiple times. I debunked everyone that I covered that covered the 22 Nobel Prize. I debunked them, and I'm making videos debunking them. That is exactly my favorite pastime right now.
That's really interesting. So are you saying that they won the award for no reason?
Correct.
Can they give out awards for just no reason?
Mm-hmm.
So are you saying they have like an agenda? They're trying to get rid of hidden variables?
No, I don't believe in conspiracy theories. They're just, I'm just a little bit smarter. That's all.
I mean, I kind of think they're trying to because hidden variables is much more in alignment with the God than it's not.
I don't care about God. Hidden variables is a simple mechanism relative to telepathy, instant telepathy across the universe, and everything. Telepathy is not enough. Telepathy is not enough to produce the entanglement experiments. You need. It's as Einstein called it, spooky action at a distance. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and it's wrong, and there's no evidence for it.
Spooky action at a distance.
That's what he called it. That's a pejorative term. It means telepathy.
Wow.
It's beyond telepathy. Telepathy is nothing. It's one particle. When you measure one particle, then the entangled particle across the universe changes so that you will measure it in a correlated way. So measuring one particle determines the measurement of the other particle across the universe instantaneously, according to the 22 Nobel Prize. It's obviously utter nonsense. That it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm.
Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
other physicists and quantum mechanics and quantum physicists were assessing the paper. I'm pretty sure it's been peer reviewed, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Look, science is not infallible.
Doesn't matter. All of the
no.
I'm not saying that it's infallible or not. What I'm saying is it's gone through professionals.
What?
It's gone through educated people who have been educated in this field.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying they're better educated than they are?
No, I'm just maybe a little bit smarter, maybe a little bit more focused.
Is this a criticism or is this actually a rebuttal?
It's neither. I just they're just wrong, and that there's nothing deeper than people can be wrong. They're fallible.
I get it. I get it if you're criticizing it and you're saying that you disapprove of it. But there's a difference between disapproving something and then also saying something's false. So which one are you saying? Are you saying it's false, or you just disapprove of it?
Well, it happens to be false, and it happens to be it happens to be crazy. They call it crazy. They call it making no sense. They give it all these names. I just take the names that they call it, and I say, yeah, correct. And it's also wrong. And it also doesn't exist. On top of everything, they say it's crazy, it doesn't make any sense, but it's definitely real. And I say, everything you said is correct, except for that it's definitely real. It's definitely not real. It's definitely wrong.
The universe is not locally real, and the physics Nobel Prize winners proved it.
No, the universe is locally real. It's local. It's real. Everything is fine. Obviously, everything is fine. It's nonsense. Whoever said that is a bumbling buffoon. I have nothing, That's it. I mean, if they want, they can come to me and I'll explain it to them. I've made many, many videos. I've gone through a process. It's not like I decided this morning. This is a very slow, arduous process that I went through. I listen to everyone. I'm still listening to everyone. There's many people there's many physics YouTube creators that I'm listening to, that I'm analyzing. Some of them are legit professors, quantum mechanics, experts that I'm listening, I'm analyzing and debunking slowly. It's very
Debunking them.
Hmm?
So this page 2024. It says here that yes, the universe is considered real, but it's not locally real.
It's real and it's local and everything is fine.
The universe is
There's no evidence. What's their evidence? What's the evidence that there's no locality or no realism or not locally real? What's the evidence? What evidence do they have?
They don't have any evidence, but what they have is an experiment in which if you look at Alan Aspect and his scientific trials, which negated a hypothesis about unseen variables.
I didn't go.
Are you aware of Aspect and his debunking of the mathematical debunking of it?
I didn't go through Aspect's lectures on the topic. I've done other people, not him. I guess at one point, I don't know. Like, I know Sabine covered this Nobel Prize, and she said that I don't know which of the three recipients. She said that they said that this has nothing to do with local realism. This does not disprove local realism. So I don't know what they. I'm a little.
No, it disproves the idea of unseen variables, like one hypothesis of unseen variables.
Okay.
Unless you have an alternative hypothesis.
No, I like hidden variables. That's what I use to recreate all the experiments. I use a single hidden variable. I don't even need even more than one. Just a single hidden variable reproduces all their data. I don't have any issue. I create 100% correlation between entangled particles from creation without telepathy. I reproduce the data without telepathy. Hidden variables gives you 100% correlation. They claim that hidden variables does not give you 100%.
You don't believe that the world at the most fundamental level is a place where particles don't have definite properties until observed.
I don't believe that. That's nonsense. Because if you believe that, then you believe the cat is dead and alive at the same time. That's obviously nonsense.
Think of a China cabinet, like a China cabinet. And you've got this China plate that appears as though it's going to fall, but because you've closed it, it's still like in that state of not falling just yet.
It's in a definite state.
And so it's
nothing to do with my observation. My observation doesn't determine anything.
Okay, so the observation is you opening the cabinet door and the glass falling and breaking. Does that make sense?
Sure. That's not observation. That's interaction. That's not observation.
No, I'm not saying it's a perfect analogy. I'm just saying that it's sort of like gives you an idea of what we're talking about here. We're saying that observation is like causing this to occur.
They claim that the cat is dead and alive at the same time. They claim that a particle, until observed, is in a superposition. that it's both, let's say, decayed and not decayed simultaneously. And if you connect it to a
Right.
so Schrodinger said, let's connect it to a Geiger counter. The Geiger is connected to a switch. The switch is connected to an apparatus connected to a hammer that falls on a vial that breaks with cyclone B and kills the cat. Question.
Right.
All right, so
Exactly.
yeah, so in the box there is this thing. So is the cat dead or alive? So they say only when the act of opening the box and observing the cat causes the wave function to collapse, and only then does the universe determine if the cat is dead or alive. That's what they say. To which I say that's nonsense, obviously. That's realism. The universe is real. And I believe in a real universe. I believe the moon is there when I don't look at it. I believe a tree that falls in the forests makes a noise even if no one is listening.
Really?
Yeah. What? Of course.
You believe in all of that garbage?
Yes. I believe. Look, I believe all of science except for this part of science. I believe all of quantum mechanics except for entanglement, meaning except for the explanation. I believe in entanglement. I believe that two particles are created entangled, can be created entangled, separated, and give correlated measurements across vast distances. Yes, but using hidden variables. I don't need spooky action at a distance. I don't need.
But then you would have to say that things are in a definite position until.
Of course, of course.
You don't think that that's kind of weird and ridiculous?
The opposite. What do you mean? I mean the particle is either decayed or it's not decayed. It doesn't depend on me observing it. They claim that when you don't observe it, it's when you observe the act of observing a particle causes its wave function to collapse, and then it shows up in exactly one place. Until then, it's in a superposition of, I don't know. I don't even know what they believe, and I don't care, honestly. Because look, I agree
Yeah,
with.
just think of it like this, right? Think of it like this.
Mhm.
You are in a suspended position in the air.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's suspended position in the air. Yeah. Are you there?
Yeah, so you're suspended, right?
Yeah.
And according to the general laws, you should be falling to the ground, right? But you're
Okay.
suspended, right?
Okay.
Until somebody looks at you, then you fall.
Okay. Yeah, I don't believe any of that.
Really?
What do you mean, really? Of course, I don't believe in nonsense. I'm I'm a normal person. I don't believe in nonsense. You don't have to believe in this nonsense. There's no reason. Mm-hmm.
How is it nonsense?
It's nonsense because we've never seen any. We don't have evidence that anything like that ever happened. Cats are not.
Honestly,
Mhm.
I feel like this theory proves God, and I think that's why you don't like it.
Okay.
Because think about it, right? God is the one who's observing us. And his observation is why we exist. If he stopped observing us, we would cease to.
Define.
Oh my God.
Define.
We would cease to exist.
Define God.
Huh?
Define God.
The God of the Bible.
The God of the Bible? The God of the Bible is basically the God of the Greek mythology, Mount Olympus. The God of the Bible has a body. Some of the time it has a real body. It created man in its own image. So it sounds like copy paste of Greek mythology. So
Oh.
hello.
Hey, Lords.
Hello.
Yo.
Yo. The
You
God of
ever
the
love game?
the God of the Bible is obviously nonsense. I mean,
Pretty gay.
yeah, the God of the Bible is pretty gay. Why would you ever believe in the
The
God?
question is, could you be even more gay? Is that even possible?
Yeah, Christians are pretty gay. Mhm.
I think I disagree because I think that we need a savior.
Whether we need a savior or not, that's irrelevant. We might need one and get one. We might need one and not get one. I happen to believe we need one and we're not getting one. Therefore, we are doomed. I don't disagree.
You don't believe in a savior. You don't believe that somebody will come
I
in and save you.
I
Make
wish.
you better.
I wish. I wish. I wish. That's not in the cards. It looks like this is the end and it's a dead end, and it looks like all the other aliens went the same way. No one survives this, unfortunately.
I'm sorry, man, but I believe in quantum entanglement. I believe that we are in two states simultaneously, and that's what I believe.
Sounds like you want to believe it. It doesn't sound like you believe it from the evidence. It sounds like you want to believe it because it gives you God or something.
Yeah, it does give you a God because God would be the observer, and we are the
Right. So
and, you know.
you're being biased. You're not objective. You're not being truthful. You're lying to yourself. As I said, people who believe in God live a life of lies. And you seem to want to live a life of lies instead of a life of being truthful with yourself.
Yeah, but the truth hurts.
Yes, the truth hurts. I know.
And we are emotional beings.
Yes.
And so we can't handle the truth.
I know. I know.
And so for you to come and tell us that we're wrong is a bit like telling people at a funeral, why are you guys here? Life has no meaning.
I know. I know. I'd rather be truthful than lie to myself. I'm sorry.
Then you must be horrible at parties.
No, I'm a very nice person. I laugh with everyone. I'm a very friendly person. No.
What are you laughing at? You don't believe in anything. You can only laugh at something you believe in something.
No, I enjoy making people laugh. I enjoy laughing. I enjoy drinking, smoking, banging chicks. I enjoy life completely. I have.
Yeah, but can you be wrong? Can you be wrong about
Yeah.
your whole assumption?
Of course. But it doesn't look like I'm wrong. It looks like I'm spot on. It looks like I'm right above the target. Whenever I talk to people, they attack me. People hate my position. Sounds like, it sounds like people want to believe in magic. And I'm taking away their magical universe. And it's very painful for them. The 22 Nobel Prize is just Jesus all over again. Just God, magic. It's very bad. It by itself, it's gonna cause our destruction. As if we don't have enough reasons to self-destruct. Living a life of lies is just a faster way and a more painful way to die. If you know the truth.
How is that the case?
Well, if you know that if you know you're dying, if you know, if you're aware of the truth, you can do something. It's more likely that you can do something to evade death, to avoid death. But if you want to live a life of lies and not, in order to not face the pain, then you're going to die regardless, and you're not even going to evade. You're not even going to try evading death. Death is at your door, and you're not even trying to evade it. You want to live a life of lies. You're just going to hasten the end. You're going to cause the end. The end doesn't need to come about, but because you want to live a life of lies, you're going to self-destruct. You're going to destroy civilization and all intelligence in the universe.
So how does that quantum entanglement
Just hidden
destroy the universe?
Because you want to live a life of lies. This is the destruction of civilization. If the people who define civilization, the physicists, the philosophers of science, if they want to live a life of lies, if they want to lead us and tell us to live in a lie, as if entanglement is magical, as if this universe is magical, they're confusing us. Everyone listens to these scientific philosophers and follows them and believes in this nonsense. I'm not even talking about the actual money wasted down the drain in quantum computing and quantum this and quantum that. That's billions and probably going to be trillions of dollars. I'm not even talking about that.
Are you saying that quantum computing's been debunked?
Yes, it doesn't exist.
So then what are they what is Google using? Is Google lying to us?
It's not. It's lying to itself. I mean, it's researchers who believe, like you, in entanglement and superposition, and they're trying to use it for quantum algorithms and quantum, whatever. Just utter nonsense. Complete and utter nonsense. They might as well just create a random variable and send multiple copies of this random variable across the universe, and then it's a hidden variable, it gives you correlation. That's all you need. You don't need a physical particle in cryogenic freezing and negative whatever Kelvin. You don't need to waste money. You can create the effect that quantum computing gives you just with a hidden variable. That's all you need, just a random hidden shared variable. It gives you exactly the same.
How?
Because when you have two entangled particles, right? So Bob and Alice share an entangled particle, and they do the measurement. And when one measures, he knows the outcome of the other. So they correlate. They have a correlation. But this correlation is identical to what you get if you just have some shared random variable that you hand each Bob and Alice anytime you want. Whenever you want, share some variable between them so that they can use this random variable. When one measures this variable, they know that the other one measures the same variable. You're welcome. Roll the credits. We're done. That's all quantum computing gives you. All of quantum.
Sorry, I didn't get that last bit. What did you say?
Quantum computing, what does it give you at the end of the day? It allows Bob and Alice. Bob goes to one corner of the universe, Alice goes to another corner of the universe, and they share an entangled particle so that when Bob measures the particle, he knows what Alice measured. This gives Bob instant communication with Alice. That's all that it gives you at the end of the day. But you don't need a quantum particle for that. You can do the same with just a random variable that you shared between Alice and Bob. That gives you exactly the same. When Bob measures the random variable, he knows exactly what Alice will measure whenever she measures because they have the same random variable. It's a shared random variable.
It's a shared random variable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then how do you share something that's random?
You create a random variable, you give a copy to Bob, and you give a copy to Alice. That's how you share it.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
So when you say random variable, who's generating the randomness?
Who's generating? Anyone in the middle, a referee in the middle, or theoretically one of either Bob or Alice can also create this random variable and share it with the other. It doesn't matter who creates it. It doesn't matter. Flip of a coin. It doesn't matter.
Kind of matters.
What?
But I mean, look, man.
Mm-hmm.
The point that I'm trying to make here
Mm-hmm.
is that I'm not convinced by you.
You don't want to be convinced. You want.
Listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't convinced by your bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm gonna tell you is this, yeah?
Yay.
Quantum computing is more than just what you just said. It's the ability to do things that we were not able to do previously.
Namely?
Like calculating things that we could not calculate previously.
Give me an example. What can you calculate using a quantum computer?
Because of the fact that you can do computations.
Mm-hmm.
You can do computations like what is it called? Like you can basically you can do more computation.
Like what? Give me an example.
In fact, if you go to Google Cloud,
mm-hmm.
you can hire quantum computer resources.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll take your money, but what do you get in return?
You are getting the ability to do computation much faster and things like that. You know, like for example, like let's say you have an AI and you wanted to learn something much quicker. You know, let's say it takes you 3 days to learn. You can do it in 15 minutes.
How? How is it faster? Hi, Stewie.
Because of the quantum properties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go on. What do you mean? I explain.
I don't know specifically, but you can search this up yourself if you like.
No, I've done. I mean, that's all I'm doing. I told you that is all I'm doing for a couple of months, and I'm giving you the answers. As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing to it.
So then, how are they able? What are they offering?
This is like the emperor's new clothes. What did the tailors offer the emperor?
Look, I know that Google lies a lot. Like recently, they lied about the AI, product.
No one is lying. And I wish it was so simple that somebody was lying. Everyone believes this is the emperor's new clothes, but there's no tailors. Like in the fable, the emperor's new clothes, there are fraudsters, but in quantum entanglement and quantum computing, there's no fraudsters. We are all fooling ourselves, unfortunately. So I can't even debunk anyone. I need to debunk.
So when they say that they have a better computational power, what are they using?
Nothing. This is literally the emperor's new clothes. It's nothing.
So then why do they put a chip inside of a fucking refrigerator?
Yeah, it's the emperor's new clothes. Like, the emperor was walking naked. So they're just, that's it. People, they want to believe in magic. This is the price. I told you, there is a price you pay when you believe in magic, when you live a life of lies. So they're wasting money building these crazy machines that have 0.0 rationality behind them. 0.0.
What do you think? What do you think about cryptocurrency?
That's good. Like everything else is okay. Most things in humanity are fine. But there is no God and there is no magic. There's no quantum entanglement. There's no quantum superposition. There was no schmovid. There's no global schwarming. There was never a financial crisis.
Wait. So you believe in other things as well? What else?
Oh, yeah.
You don't believe in global warming?
Don't say that. We're not allowed to say that. That's how you know that it doesn't exist. They take down every video where I even mention it by name. They take down the video. So there's no point in talking about it.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, right. What can we talk about?
I can just we can rename.
I'd like to ask you a question.
Yes, Mr. Call Me Daddy. What's the question?
Yes, my question is, what is a gay Muslim, a transgender Muslim? Is it a Muslim who likes it from behind or something like this?
It's a Muslim who's gay and trans.
Wait, did you know that Aisha? Wait, did you know that Muhammad was a cuck?
No.
Yeah, Aisha cheated on him. Aisha used to bang other guys. As far as I know, I'm not kidding. I'm not saying this to hurt anyone's feelings. I'm saying this is why Muslims punish women who are raped. It's like reverse logic. Because Aisha used to cheat on Muhammad, so Muslims punish women who are raped. It doesn't make any sense either way, but yeah, as far as I know, Muhammad was a cock. I mean, he loved Aisha, but she didn't have any respect for him, apparently. Or maybe they were into cock.
It's like because Muslims don't understand that their type of modesty is an extreme version, you know?
It's not even about that. Oh, he's gone. All right, let's continue. Yeah.
Well, hold on. Do you think you can have an extreme version of modesty?
That's a different topic. I don't have a problem with modesty. I mean, modesty is
No, like if you saw me walk around inside of a cardboard box, like you'd think I'm insane, right?
If I saw you walking inside of a box, a cardboard box.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Why would you be inside a car?
Like I was because I'm completely covered, right?
I don't care. I don't judge people. You can do whatever you want. You sound like a very smart person, and I would enjoy talking to you. So that's all. That's all I care for. I don't care what else you do.
I don't know if that's sarcasm, but I'll take the compliments.
There's no. I'm never sarcastic. I'm always honest. Hello.
You're always honest.
Yes. Hello, Mr. Schrodinger.
Hello. What's going on?
Okay. There should be like 2 dots over the O. Schrodinger.
Yeah, but I did OE because you can also do that. You can do both.
Schrodinger. Anyway, what do you know about? Do you like Schrodinger?
Yeah, I think it's a cool cat.
It's a cool cat. It's a cool cat. I happen to be a sort of an expert on everything Schrodinger.
On everything, or just everything Schrodinger?
No, I said sort of an expert on everything Schrodinger. Not a real expert, like
You mean like everything, comma Schrodinger, or everything Schrodinger?
No, everything Schrodinger. I'm into quantum mechanics. I'm doing a deep dive in.
I see.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I'm not.
Schrodinger, are you Asian?
No.
Gay, trans, Muslim, are you Asian?
No. Are you Asian?
I am
a white man.
Yes, I'm a white man too.
Where are you from, Mr. Slave?
New York City, but I'm traveling.
That's cool.
Yeah. Anyway,
So,
go ahead.
why do you think that it has to be with an O with 2 dots?
No,
I can debunk this for you.
No, I didn't say that it has. I usually don't say that things have to be anything. They could be. I think I said it could be or should be. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no
It
worries.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Anyway, we
You see, in
were.
German, we replaced the O with 2 dots with OE because some people don't have it on their keyboard, for example.
Wait, are you
And
German?
some people don't understand it. I speak German, yeah.
Wunderbar. Wait, Wunderbar.
Wunderbar.
Oh, okay, wunderbar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
I need to sharpen my non-existent German. I mean, sometimes
Yeah,
I have. Go ahead.
My name is Donkey.
I can't hear what you're saying. No, sometimes I end up having to read
He called you a racial slur in German.
It's fine. Sometimes I need to actually read German because I'm reading, original papers that were written in German from, the 1900s. So it's
Hey, what's up? Are you
Yes, sir.
German?
Hey, what's up?
Schrodinger is German.
No, I just
okay.
speak it.
Okay, because I was about to tell you something about German, bro, like Germany. But I went to this movie park in Germany before, and I was like questioning myself, like, why are Germans so aggressive, bro? Like, I just went there trying to find a parking spot, and then this guy just yelled at me in German, like, something like, "There's a car coming in this spot, so you have to move," or whatever he was saying. But it was like yelling at me in German. I felt like, man, chill, my German brother.
I think he was really respectful, but it's just because of the way he sounds that it sounded aggressive.
Wait, was this in
Maybe, yeah.
Was this in Germany?
Yeah,
Were you in Germany?
yeah, it's like, yeah, it was in Germany, like, yeah, movie park it's called.
So
it's like a
So I'll give you my theory.
amusement park.
Okay, so I'll give you my theory why people sometimes are nasty. So the answer is that in general, poverty creates violence. So the poorer a person or the circumstances or a country or the situation, statistically, the more violence will be created.
What if it's the opposite?
I even thought the total opposite. I even thought that people in poverty are usually kind and more forgiving, and people on the other side are mostly the most toxic ones.
No, what I mean to say with the opposite is that what if it's the other way around, where instead of poverty causing violence, violence is causing poverty.
No, I mean, take example of homeless people. I mean, how many of these homeless people do you see being toxic towards you? I mean, most of these people are just kind and like chill. People are taking less things for granted. And that makes them more thankful and peaceful. Almost, it seems. So, I think that this is a wrong idea about people in poverty. I think these people are usually the kind ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Conclusion: I don't think there's a correlation between violence and poverty. I think it's culture related.
Also can be the case. I mean, not everybody is going to be the same. Not everybody is going to be dealing the same way with poverty. Some people do get aggressive, maybe if they earn a little bit less. If you
think about it, right? Violence is dangerous. Why would you be? You need a reason to be violent. So violence is a strategy to deal with poverty. Poverty incentivizes violence. Otherwise, you don't have an incentive. Like if you're wealthy, why would you be violent and lose your life or lose limbs or lose money?
Because same reason why maybe some rich people commit suicide. It's because they get depressed at the end of the day because they don't see a real goal in life anymore, because they already have everything. They already tasted everything in life. They have nothing to go for anymore, and it's pretty much it. So they don't know what to do no more. So maybe that's the thing that makes them depressed or violent. They think like I don't know. So yeah. I mean, people in poverty always have a goal. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's going to be realistic or not. They always have something to chase, really. So, especially when you are passionate about it, if you are like a addict, or you got nothing to smoke for a little while, or the examples I gave you earlier, yeah. That makes room for aggression.
Are you German?
No, I'm from the Netherlands. Oh wow, where are you from actually?
New York.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
So do you agree with my points or?
No. You're No, I don't. I think wealthy people have a great life and poor people have a terrible life. So wealthy people don't have a reason to destabilize their own lives, and poor people want to destroy the world, or they don't have a choice. A poor person might not have a choice and might have to resort to violence just in order to survive. And a rich person doesn't need to do anything. He has a perfect life. So he certainly wouldn't. Why would he?
Yeah, but these rich people rarely got time for everybody else in their family for the most part. If they really are serious about getting rich, or maybe if they are rich, I mean, don't expect them to spend any more time to family and all the other things in life. They usually only see money, and they usually only care about money. For the most cases, if this is the vision, if this is your perspective in life, and if you think everything resolves around money, I don't really see a way for you to be happy in life. I mean, and I mean sincerely happy, like pure happiness, right? So, and I think if you are living in poverty, especially when you are religious, right? I mean, I think people without a religion, depression levels usually stagger, around these people. I'm not saying that religious people never get depression. I mean, sure they do, but I'm not like on equal levels as like an atheist person. But because I was an atheist before, right? And I could tell you already from my own experience already, like at the time, like when I was an atheist, I mean, yeah, my depression really went high up, because I felt like there's I live this, I go through this all, but I mean, for what? There's nothing for me there. But when I became religious, everything changes for me, right? I was getting thankful for my situation, and I was and my life went on. I mean, I just became more successful, and everything. I held everything together just because I was believing in something. Yeah.
Yeah,
so I think this is important.
Yeah, I thoroughly disagree with everything you said.
Yeah, that's okay. I agree to disagree, but I'm curious. I mean, what do you disagree on specifically?
I mean, you said so many things. I don't know where to begin, so I would have to ask you to say everything again, and I will stop you whenever I disagree.
All right, I can form I can make it. I can break it down for you. We can make separate topics on specific things. Well, I can create a topic for you right now. Religion makes people less depressed. Yes or no? And you can explain why you think it's the case or why you think it's not the case.
I mean, religion, yeah, I would agree that religion makes people less depressed. So does heroin, so does exercise. Like a lot of things make people less depressed, sure. Or many things make people less depressed. Religion is one of them. Religion, look, it's a social network.
So you agree
Religion,
with him?
yeah, about religion,
But
yes.
yeah, but I don't think it's the same thing though. I don't think taking drugs and having religion is like something is comparable, because drugs is gonna damage you even more than you was, right? And it's gonna have a negative effect on you. And as a matter of fact, it's gonna make you more depressed, because it's gonna get you addicted to the drug you'd be taking. You're gonna spend more money on a specific on the drugs you'd be taking, and especially when you are like coming from poverty. I mean, how many of these people taking drugs are still alive today? I mean, a lot of people just go through worse shit through their life, and they may end their lives even because they think like drugs the only thing they can get to get away from problems. And matter of fact, religion actually helps them to move away from drugs for a lot of cases. So it's a more healthier option, right? I mean,
Again, you're saying a lot of things, and I need to stop you. And I disagree with everything you just said. So again, you have to speak in shorter sentences and try to avoid like monologues. So start again, and I'll stop you.
all right. Well, I will try to make it shorter for you to understand. Well, I think drugs is gonna worsen your situation.
No.
It's gonna worsen your situation because you're gonna get addicted. You're gonna pay more money to
No.
these drugs.
No. No.
All right.
So drugs.
And will it?
Wait, hold on. So drugs. You're saying many things. So hold on. Drugs could help you.
It's gonna give you illusions. It's gonna give you the illusion as if you didn't got any problems and that everything is okay. But the moment it's how do we say that?
But what's wrong with that? Right? Fine.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? So a person is depressed and is not functioning, and he takes drugs, and the drugs makes it that he forgets about the problems, and now he's relaxed, and now he's able to function, right? You could view drugs as that. The drugs can help you deal with the stresses. It reduces stress.
Yeah.
And then it helps you function.
Okay, I can give you a comparison.
Mhm.
Let's say you get this car, right? This car is all rusty and shit,
Mhm.
but you decide to paint over it.
Mhm.
So you decide to hide the rust with using paint and all that.
Mhm.
Does it solve the problem?
Yes, a
Because,
little.
I mean, as far
Yes, a little
far-
bit.
as
Yes,
far as-
yes. Look, I understand. Like, I understand what you're saying. Everything in life has what we call in America pros and cons. It has a positive side and a negative side. Everything. When you take a breath of air and you're oxygenating your body, the oxygen is also what causes decay and destroys the body. The free oxides is, at the end of the day, they're dangerous. Oxygen is not healthy.
Yeah, but I made the comparison just to make clear to you that let's, for example, you are like thousands of dollars in debt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, instead of just working and doing something to solve the problems,
Mm-hmm.
you just try to get away from these problems by taking drugs. So just ignoring the fact that you are into this debt and all that. I mean, if you take drugs to get away from your problems, you'll never get away from your problems.
Well,
You're just masking it. That's the only thing you do.
yes, That's a possibility, and maybe that's good. I don't know. I mean, it really depends on the situation. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe you need to get away from all the problems in order to rethink life, in order to, maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah.
In any
No,
case,
because
right now you're in pain. You want to relieve the pain. So you take drugs to instantaneously get relief. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
You're in pain.
no, because the reason why I'm against your
Mhm.
point of view when it comes on drugs. I mean, drugs actually um, it it lets you give up on things. It's basically to say that, you know what, I just give up on this shit. I just take drugs and that's it. You know,
Maybe, but maybe,
it's letting you give up.
but maybe that's good. I don't know. Maybe it's good that you
No,
give up. I don't know. I mean,
because
it
no, because religion does the exact opposite. It actually
maybe
teaches you to
I
face your problems
I
and try to
didn't
resolve it.
I didn't say religion is bad. I'm not saying anything is good or bad. Everything is good and bad. Everything, everything is complicated. I'm not judging religion that it's bad or good, or drugs is good or bad. Everything has pros and cons. Every coin has at least two sides. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but if I mean, I think drugs does more bad than it does good,
Okay. Then
right?
that's fine. I
I
I
mean,
I personally I don't do any drugs. I drink coffee and I eat carbs. Carbs are like a drug.
yeah,
I
yeah.
eat I don't eat sweets, but I eat like munchies. I munch on stuff. I eat a lot of gum. You could say gum is drugs. It's like a drug. So, and
I mean,
you could say the Discord is like a drug. And
uh,
you could say that I'm doing research in quantum mechanics. That's like a drug. You could say anything you
no,
want. The
no. I mean the drugs. I mean, like the real deal. I mean the drugs that we usually see as drugs, right? I mean
I don't.
weed,
I
cocaine.
yeah. I personally I stay away from drugs, not because I'm against drugs. I just don't find drugs to be interesting. I've tried drugs, and I find doing drugs just boring. It's a boring experience. I just don't care for it. I don't drink alcohol. I just find alcohol to be boring.
Yeah.
Cigarettes are
Well,
boring. Sugar
let's
is.
say
I
okay,
do.
let's say you have to
Mhm.
you have the ability to rule over a country,
Mhm.
and you could decide whether to ban or to allow drugs.
Mhm.
And I mean cocaine, weed, and all these kind of drugs,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Would you allow it, or would you
Yes.
say, you know what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Do you think it's good for society?
Yes. I see what the war on drugs does. The war on drugs is a terrible thing. I know that America before the war on drugs didn't have drug issues. As far as I know, there was never an issue with drugs.
Yeah.
As far as I
I mean, if you go to for example, if you go to the Emirates, for example, I mean, I am pretty sure drugs is not allowed there, and there's no issue about drugs. Anything like there's no issue whatsoever. Nobody is talking about drugs. Nobody is taking drugs, and everything, and the society is thriving. So and there's no problem there. You know, so
Mhm.
in the states, of course, you're gonna have these problems because there's something going wrong with the entire law regarding drugs or the way it's getting executed.
But the
But
Okay, look, I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion about drugs. I don't like the drug war. The drug war is very
yeah,
expensive, and I don't like that. We end up
oh yeah,
paying.
yeah,
We have drug right. There's police and the justice system and the incarceration system. And it's an entire industry that's taking up a lot of the of our quality of life is taken away because we
Yeah.
have to pay all these salaries. I mean, just the jail system. A jail is very expensive. Every person in jail
Yeah.
costs about $100,000 a year. It's like a very expensive hotel.
Yeah.
So-
That's why the death penalty is needed. That makes room for another discussion. I think the death penalty ain't that bad. I think it's for a reason. I think it's exactly to address the problems we talk about now, right? It's why would you pay? Why would you take money from the working class to afford care of criminals? I mean, for example, you are a family of a victim that got killed by a criminal. He gets in prison, and you gotta pay taxes in order for your money to go back to the criminal, so he could get some food and live with your own money, with your own hard-earned money. I don't think this is justice. I think this is absurd.
Yeah,
Like I believe in the eye of an eye.
I'm personally against punishment. We should not be punishing, period.
Well, if you take away the entire concept of punishment in society, I mean, what makes criminals stop whatever they're doing? I mean, they just go ahead and take whatever they can take. If they are thinking that there's no consequence, then what makes them stop doing stuff? I mean,
No,
they
you
can basically
You
do
can
whatever.
have right, so you can have a consequence. You can say, okay, you murdered, so now you're gonna fix that. You're gonna have to fix the fact that you murdered. You're gonna
How?
So the best thing I think is to enter negotiation with the victim's family, and they have to decide
Yes.
your fate. And they could say that you're going to become their slave, or maybe
Yes.
I don't know, maybe
And
or maybe you.
what if they refuse to cooperate?
Then the government look. Then you get executed. Yeah, if you refuse, look, you can either be executed or enter negotiation. It's up to you. Or leave. You can leave the country too. Or leave the country. Never come back. If you come back, you're executed. Anyway, it doesn't matter. In general, I'm against. I don't think we should be punishing people. There's no reason to punish people. You have to figure out why people choose to be criminals. Anyway. Wait, what just happened? Oh, it got disconnected. Yeah, there's a bug. There's bugs with Discord. Discord is a very buggy system. Very buggy system. Anyway, we've been here for an hour and a half. Maybe I should cut it. What have we done? We have reviewed videos. I think this video we've seen already. This guy I need to see. I don't know what this is about.
The Nobel Prize in Physics is typically awarded to scientists.
We'll come back. We'll come back. We'll come back. Can you hear me? All right. So what I wanted to do is, we didn't do the part 2. We need to do the part 2. This thing. We didn't do this thing. So let me copy this. Let's change the name. This ended up, we didn't do. This we'll do next time. So what we're gonna do now. What are we gonna do? Now? Let me think. Can I put on my thinking cap? Oh, they changed the name to Debate People on Discord crime and punishment. Anyway, that's it. Save changes, and let's end the stream and I'll create a new one.